hypnotized. What's up is down, what's left is right. Chasing stars and holding you. I can't see the end, but we'll see it through. Times don't fly too high. Be sure to keep the ground in sight. Fly forever if you keep it tight. Love the world but keep the sky on your mind.
I work blind, got vision I don't need to see. I'm picking mind over matter, I believe in me. I need to find more hours in the day to breathe. Need to find more power in the way I be. And when my mind turns sour with the painful scenes, I need to scream out loud, I can't stop me. I wanna be the greatest like Rocky. You know I leave them all hating like a hobby. I'm out here making moves like a lobby. And if you ain't with me, it's your loss, see. I got my mind on the facts, I'm a python, grab what I like real fast. Choke until I have everything I attack, everything that I lack, everything that I want, and I see, matter of fact.
Cause I'm my own worst enemy. Only if I let it be. I can control anything if I can just think carefully. I control my destiny. Deep up in my mind I manifest it. Every morning I wake up obsessed, and everything I do the best. And deep within my mind you know I'll always manifest it.
Hello and welcome to my Mind Over Your Matter. My name is Rick, and let's get this show started. How you guys doing? Hope everyone's having a good weekend. It's a beautiful Sunday here. I'm rolling up my medicine right now to have a nice little smoke while we watch some of the news. I got a little haircut, as you can see, looking all nice and sharp. Start off the next week. I got a lot of physical therapy next week, so I was like, oh, I just want to not look scrubby anymore, so let me go get a haircut. So that's what I did this morning. And now I'm rolling up a nice, beautiful joint here, as you can see. Smells good. And let's go ahead and put this stuff away. I do got some news to go over. We're going to start with the weather and then move forward to some other news. Okay, got my candles all lit. I'm ready to go. I hope you guys are ready to go because I am. Let's get this started. All right, so first we're going to start off with is let's go with some weather. Let's see what's going on in the tropics. Tropics has been pretty heated up. And is it going to slow down? No, it's not. Is it going to get more crazier? Yes, it is. Let's start here. Give me 1 second to start this up. Here we go. Let's change this over here because I don't want that one. Let's go over here. There we are. Let's make it bigger so you can see. That's Hurricane Erin. That's moving west-northwest. It's still around 15 miles per hour, I believe. It is a Category 3 hurricane right now, but it's going through a restructuring of its eye. It usually on weekends when it does that, it's pretty impressive. It's really big, and I'm wondering if this storm moves up north. Is there? I know they're trying to project it to move out, but is there any chances of this storm moving a little bit closer to the United States? I think it may come a little closer to the United States, not like making a landfall, but making an impact. Now, here's another system back here, and it just came off of Africa. It's another low pressure area that's forming right around here. It's supposed to develop in this region, and it should take around a similar track to Erin, but a little bit more further south. So the chances of the Leeward Islands and Puerto Rico getting hit by a hurricane is probably going to be a little bit elevated for next week. Other than that, those are the two talking points. Let's check out Erin and see the the Ghost 19. Let's go to the Ghost 19. Let's check out Erin. Actually, you know what? Before I show the infrared, let me go to the visible high res. So let's go to visible high res. Let's check a look at what the system's looking like. And pretty strong hurricane. Very strong hurricane. You can tell it's redeveloping its eye. It's about to pop out a new eye soon because this is... It's swirling, and it's about a Category 3. It looks, but man, it looks like a strong little storm, and it's only going to get bigger. That's the crazy part of this. As it's redeveloping its eye, the system is just expected to get even bigger than what it is. Let's check out the infrared. This is the Ghost 19 infrared. Let's let it upload for a second. And there we go. Wow. When it was a Category 5, that eye was very, pronounced. You can see it's trying to develop a new eye. You can see right here, it's going to try to develop a new eye. And when it does develop a new eye, that's when it's going to rapidly intensify again. They're projecting it to become a Category 4 again. I see this energy. Can you see this energy right here? I see waves of energy coming out. It's radiating out of the storm. I see it right here. I wonder if you guys could see it too. It's kind of it looks like a sonic boom type of wave that's moving away from the storm here. This is very weird. This is an energy pulse. It looks like here. Huh. That does not look normal. That looks very weird as far as like this energy that's pushing out of the storm. And is this storm being manipulated? Is this storm being manipulated? That's the question, because this is not normal to have energy waves pushing through the storm like this outwards. I don't know. You be the judge. Let's take a look at let's see. Two. Let's I got why I got so many old windows open on this. I wanted to see give me one sec. All right, let's check out this one here.
Well, take a look at this. Hurricane hunters fly right into the eye of Hurricane Erin, a now Category 4 storm churning in the Atlantic.
Hey,
Erin is one of
Chloe.
the most rapidly intensifying storms ever in the Atlantic Ocean. And Greg is going to tell us, thankfully, it didn't hit land, at least for us.
At least for us, yes. It's doing quite some work here in the Caribbean, not making a direct landfall, though. Now, we said it's a Category 4 hurricane. It currently is. It's weakened a little bit over the last 4 hours, but here's the thing. It's kind of what we call cycling, where the wall goes away for a little bit, it regathers itself, and it's going to strengthen back into a Category 5 overnight tonight into tomorrow morning. It will not make a direct impact to Puerto Rico or to the Dominican Republic, but definitely will still be giving plenty of influence when it comes to waves and wind. Taking a look right here, observed wave height. So how big are the wind, or how big are the waves here right along the exact eye wall itself? Well, up to 25, 30 feet here. They're not as high as they were again a few hours ago, but they expect to go back up. And these waves continue to be about 10 feet away, hundreds of miles away from the center of the storm. I say this because when I show you where it's going to go, it'll put things in perspective in terms of what the impact to the U.S. could be. I do not anticipate this making landfall in the U.S. However, as it gets closer, it becomes a Category 5 once again. It will weaken to a Category 4 as it exits the Caribbean. It will continue to track north Tuesday into Wednesday, ways away from the U.S., but here's the catch. You just saw how big it is. There will still be rip current issues for the entire East Coast. A lot of cloud cover. It could influence some rain and some wind. We're not talking hurricane strength, but definitely if you have plans this upcoming week, middle of the week or next weekend, and you're going to be on the East Coast, this could impact the weather for you. But back home, we should be good.
All right, let's go to the next little news cycle here on the storm.
Breaking into Fox Weather, the 2 o'clock advisory in a little early here. Thanks for joining us here on Fox
This
Weather
is from
Live.
yesterday.
Let's get right to it. No changes really to
It's pretty
Erin
strong
at all.
from yesterday,
In fact,
man.
The structure remains about the same. We are seeing some anticipated strengthening in the day ahead, but as of right now, maintains a Category 3 status, 125-mile-an-hour winds, moving off to the west-northwest, 13 miles an hour. Pressure, again, no change. Here's what that looked like from 11 o'clock this morning to here we stand just before 2 p.m. So the official advisory time typically gets at 2 o'clock, but every once in a while, National Hurricane Center likes to keep us on our toes. We'll get it a couple minutes early. So here it is. Again, no big changes as far as the storm itself. What is changed in this advisory is our watch for the southeastern Bahamas is now a tropical storm warning.
Wow, they put tropical storm warning.
The impact here in the Turks and Caicos and the southeastern Bahamas.
That's more for boaters
and
days. For the islands.
See certainly a couple rain bands work their way across the islands, bring in not only the potential for some tropical storm force wind gusts, but also to some flooding rains. Here's a look at our visible satellite in the last 2 hours. Now, we haven't been able to see the eye of Erin like we had so clearly throughout the day yesterday when Erin was, of course, that Category 5 monster storm. It's filled in a little bit, and that structure has been kind of trying to regain itself in the last 12 hours or so. But when we zero in to about the last 30 minutes or so here on visible satellite, you can see kind of the bubbling, especially on the south side here, and perhaps the beginnings of our eye starting to restructure and open up a bit again. So we are expecting this storm to remain quite healthy throughout the day today, tomorrow, move through those warmer waters. There's really nothing slowing down Aaron at the moment. That west-northwest track, though, and that's what's going to be important. Now, coming up at 5, that's when we're going to get a whole brand new suite of that forecast cone, the advisory, you name it. That's when we're going to get kind of an update to just about everything. So the cone remains the same. And again, our confidence is still up that this is going to curve away from the United States. We're not expecting a direct landfall, and not even in spots like the Turks and Caicos and southeastern Bahamas, expected to remain off to the east, offshore through the open waters. But nonetheless, we are expecting impact along the U.S. coast as far as big swells, big waves. We are expecting to see Aaron as it starts to curve. It will grow in size. Now, here we are by about Thursday, and what will be interesting, what you'll notice is that the strength of the storm is going to weaken. So that number, that mile per hour number that gives us our category, is going to start to come down. But when that happens, the storm is going to begin to grow. And now the larger the system, the more energy we're transferring into the ocean. And that is unfortunately what's going to bring our greatest risks from, I think, the mid-Atlantic coastline all the way up through the Jersey Shore, Long Island. This is
even up here in Connecticut.
Not only some pretty massive swells, but dangerous and life-threatening rip currents. And we'll have to continue to follow how Aaron trends within that cone, right? We could see the core of this maybe continue to sneak onto the left side, as has been a pretty consistent trend in the last couple runs.
Moving more west.
That might bring just enough to bring some of those outer rain bands a bit towards the Outer Banks, where we could see some tropical storm force wind gusts here. Kill Devil Hills, Hatteras, this is by Thursday morning. Again, storm track is something we have to watch very closely for now. So some of those strong coastal winds, and some erosion, and perhaps some concerns there by the end of this week. But we'll keep you up to date. Again, this is still a couple days out, but I think we prepare for now.
Where are we at? No, I want to see this one here. It's showing, this is Puerto Rico. I could tell you for a fact that is elevated waves in Puerto Rico. That is, cars are going a little bit too fast in the rain. I love Puerto Rico. Here's the cookie. This was a frog. And it's raining, so they're loving this. They're having sexy time. Oh, all that moisture that they're getting. Wow. A lot of rain falling in Puerto Rico. So beautiful. I love Puerto Rico. I'm try to go back soon and then document it and have you guys I'll do a show from Puerto Rico. How about that? I'll do a couple of shows from Puerto Rico. Even driving like this, oh man, because they're going through the mountains right here, and if I'm not mistaken, they're going north, but these cars are driving way too fast for that type of rain, especially on the mountain. But as you can see, very foggy. Like from the elevation, it gets a little bit more cloudier on the top of the mountains, and traffic at least is flowing pretty good. They are going at a good little pace, a little bit too fast for my liking, but you know, it is what it is. That's Puerto Rico. Wow. That's it makes me want to go back. It makes me want to go to Puerto Rico and visit. You know, it's like I love it. I love every time I go there. I always have a great time. I'm always happy. It is what it is. It's a beautiful place, very tropical, very warm, and very loving, especially with family and friends. It's always so cool. I always have a great time there. Let's go to, let's see where we're going to go with this. It's not that much today. Today's been pretty quiet. We're going to go to, let's go some political. We're going to go back to back on some political stuff. And then we're going to go check out a video from Tyson De La Cruz. That he was with me last night. We were watching, and I'll be too. We were watching the wrestling last night, the AAA wrestling, Triple Mania. That was last night. It's Triple Mania. It was a great show. It was good. Tyson, thanks for coming through. You're awesome, as usual. And Albie was there. That was so cool. And we do that every time there's a wrestling event. We get together and we watch. And I tend to do the commentary a lot. And Tyson too would be talking during the event. And it's fun times, especially yesterday when they destroyed the American table outside the and there was nobody to commentate, right? Because I guess the headphones or something got messed up. So I took over and I started talking and started dictating the match. It was so funny. It was so cool. But we do that for every PLE premium live event. And yeah, the next one I guess is it's the show in Paris, I believe. Clash. Let me see. Let me double check. I think it's next week. Let's see. Check out over here. And I don't see it here. I don't know when it's going to be then. It's like, it's not isn't it? Wouldn't be Peacock? Or was that going to be a Netflix? Yeah, let me check. Because I don't see nothing on the Peacock. The Peacock. Let's see, WWE. Oh, come on. Categories. WWE. I gotta watch that Unreal. I haven't seen it yet. No, I don't see it here either. Wait a minute. Let me find out. And I put these eye drops in my eyes, and that's not even helping me at all. I know it's the Clash in Paris, I think, is the next one. Let me see. Yeah, Clash in Paris is the next one. Clash in Paris was just scheduled for August 31st. So I believe in a few weeks, we'll be watching this event. So let's go ahead and check out this political whatever they're going to be talking about. I don't know. I haven't seen it. We're watching it together for the first time. So that's the way the show goes. Let's watch.
Welcome back. President Trump's takeover of D.C.'s police was proven to be a success. In 1 week, there's been more than 240 arrests, plus nearly 40 firearms and more than 200 fentanyl pills. Well, it's now off the streets.
But that didn't stop far-left protesters marching outside the White House against the president's push to make their streets safer.
U.S. Attorney for the District of Columbia, Janine Pirro, joins us now. Janine, it's so great to have you.
It's so nice to be back.
Welcome home.
I mean, hair, makeup, everything.
I know you've got all the great lighting.
The lighting, everything. They don't have this in D.C.
No.
But I'll tell you what they have in D.C. They have a real problem there.
Yeah, they do.
And the amazing part of this whole thing is, you know, you can have these protesters out there, but the only person who has talked about the urban blight, the decay, the crime, the unsafe streets, the fact that people are being mugged and shot and beaten and brutalized is President Trump. And they want to object to it. You know, they want to march and protest. You know what? They should kiss the ground at this point that you've got someone who wants to make the city safe again, who wants to make it clean again. Look, they cleaned out, I think it's 44 homeless encampments. Yes. No one was arrested. I mean, this is the nation's capital. It should look like the nation's capital, the shining city on the hill. We shouldn't have to worry about an intern who comes to work in Congress, a young kid who goes out for a hamburger, gets shot and killed, and his parents take his body away.
Right. Well, it should be a bipartisan issue, and there was a time when at least it was a bipartisan issue that it was a problem. We have a video of somebody that you'll recognize who recognized at one point that it was a problem. Watch this.
Driving home, my staff who lives here in the Hill reminded me, don't stop at a stoplight until I'm out of town. If I see a red light late at night, since there's very little traffic, slow up at the other block so I never come to a full stop except in the middle of the block because of carjackings. Stopping at a light, people standing in a corner, walking up with a gun.
And that's still a problem in D.C., okay? And the amazing part of it is the Democrats. Let me tell you, the dumbest thing the Democrats ever said was defund the police, okay? Really? And we are suffering as a result of that Democrat statement because they know how dangerous crime is. Joe Biden right there knows what people in D.C. know. And the saddest part about all of this is no one is talking about the impact on the minority community. Right. And I had them look at a stat that apparently no one's looked at. 45 teenagers killed in the last year in 8 months by weapons, by shotguns, by firearms, okay? 45. Every one of them African-American, every one of them Black. No one is talking about the minority community. No one is talking about the fact that 70% of those homicides are not solved. That means the guns are still on the street, the young thugs are still on the street, and they want to say, we can't prosecute young kids. Yes, you can. A murder is no less a murder if you're 15 years old. Yet if you lose your life because of a 16-year-old, that doesn't mean it's less painful.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.
I'm trying to get all this set up here in the background. Give me 1 sec to get this set up here. I'll just checking something out here. Let's go to the next news. I guess this is about News Scum. So let's check out what they're talking about with News Scum.
So it's time now for my weekend news review, where we discuss some of the biggest stories of the week. And today we have actor, comedian, and radio talk show host Joe Piscopo, Charlie, the man, the legend, joining us.
Great to be here.
So
what do you got? What do you got?
We got a lot. So let's start with President Trump slashing the time it takes to get a firearm permit in D.C. According to the White House, you can now get an appointment for a permit registration in a day instead of 4 months. For concealed carry, that's being cut down from several months to just over 4.5 days on average.
You know what? Something has to be done. The gun problem, quote unquote, in America are the illegal guns. The legal gun owners, the registered gun owners are not the problem. This is the best thing that President Trump has done, Charlie. And I like to see it. And I love, the mantra for me for many, many years to clean up the inner cities. I've had the privilege of talking to Donald Trump about it. And you look at all those cities with all the problems. He's starting with D.C. See Judge Janine in the House. Come on.
Yes,
cleaning house like that. I applaud the president for what he's done in this regard, sir.
And of course, if you want to talk about red flag laws, the best red flag law there is a felony. And if you have a felony conviction, you should have your guns taken away from you. Okay, next topic. California Governor Gavin Newsom tries to channel President Trump with this tweet storm this week. He writes, the maps will end your presidency, retake Congress for the people, and expose your rigged little game. My perfect maps are more beautiful than anything in Trump Tower, which many say smells weird. Is he pulling it off?
You know, has anybody asked Gavin Newsom, there's not one house rebuilt after the Pacific Palisades fire.
you.
Not
Thank
one
you.
house.
Wow.
Talk to people there, Malibu, nothing. They can't get the permits. Donald Trump told Gavin Newsom to clean your forests and there will be no fires. Gavin Newsom laughed then. The LA almost burned down, and now he has the gall to go after President Trump. You know what? He's making himself more irrelevant. Especially now with Donald Trump just really showing up and bringing this golden age of America, and Newsom can't stand it. He's got to step back. He's irrelevant. He'll never register in the 2028 election.
He has time to cosplay as Donald Trump on social media, but doesn't fix the Palisades. Amazing. Okay, now to this. Struggling city-owned Missouri grocery store, similar to what Zohran Mamdani wants in New York, here in New York City, officially shuts its doors. Sign on the door says, unfortunately, due to unforeseen circumstances beyond our control, we are no longer at this time able to serve the residents of this important community. The unforeseen circumstances is called, I think, socialism. The shelves were bare, everything was getting stolen, and newsflash, it didn't work.
It's amazing that he even approaches it this way. I call this guy a Zoltar. Like, remember the movie, the Tom Hanks movie? You know, that little that character. This is Zoltar trying to run New York, and we plead with the New Yorkers. Please stop, think what you're doing, because I talk to guys on my radio show on AM 970. They go, oh, we're going to vote for the guy. And some of them are Jewish Americans. I said, what are they thinking? So it's important to note this is something clearly that Mamdani wants to do that has failed miserably in Kansas, and it will fail miserably in New York City.
And I get Democrats have run the city into the ground, but this guy's not the answer. Okay, now this story I know is near and dear to your heart. New Jersey's electric bills have tripled this summer, and I guess there's some talk that it might even cost a pretty reliably Democrat state, cost Democrats some of their seats because they're always prioritizing global warming over people's ability to pay their electric bill.
You know, chatted with our friend Jack Ciattarelli, running for governor, Charlie, in the great state of New Jersey, and he has all the answers to help stop these high prices in energy. Talked to the president last May. I had the privilege of talking to President Trump in Wildwood, New Jersey.
You need to get the Democrats out of office, man.
He said to President Trump is wind turbines off the Jersey Shore. I said, Mr. President, they got windmills on the Jersey Shore? I said, like we say in Jersey, forget about it. President Trump goes, day one, Joe, they're gone. And you know what? With Congressman Jeff Van Drew, Charlie, day one, bang, the wind turbines are gone. They wasted so much money on that, and now they're trying to make up for it. And Jersey gets no respect. Our property tax is up. It is, again, I say to my friends, Charlie, I'm an old blue dog Democrat, you know? And for crying out loud, you can't keep that Democratic initiative of just raising the tolls, raising the taxes. We can make a change. Well, it's got to happen in November.
You're an old blue dog Democrat and a legend. Thank you.
Thank you, Charlie. God bless.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe
I hope
to the
they
Fox
can
News
get that solved. We need a better structure when it comes to electricity and our food too. You know, it's just there could be better options and better ingredients for our food here in America. I'm happy that they're taking out all those stupid dyes and stupid, you know, we should have all natural, like real ingredients, real, all natural, not artificial flavored bullshit. Like, ugh, disgusting. All right, we're going to go watch our last show for the day, and then I will be done for the day, and I'm going to relax and enjoy my Sunday. And I hope you guys do the same too. So let's watch the last show of the day, and that's reserved for Tyson De La Cruz.
The Department of Transportation now requires truck drivers to speak and read English proficiently.
America, Trump's English proficiency mandate for truck drivers is working exactly as designed, and the panic is absolutely real. In just 30 days, 1,500 commercial drivers have pulled off American roads because they can't speak English well enough to read warning signs or communicate with police. But here's what's really wild. Driving schools across the border are now scrambling to offer emergency English classes because Mexican drivers are realizing that they might lose their livelihood. We're talking about hombres who've been driving 80,000-pound vehicles for decades without being able to read steep grade ahead or understand bridge out.
But they survived for a long time, not knowing, so I give it to them.
In case you missed it, Mexican big rig drivers on U.S. roadways are taking classes to learn English. In an executive order, President Donald Trump set English fluency standards for these drivers.
What is up, guys? Tyson Dela Cruz here. Thank you so much for rocking with me. Now, I reported on this issue months ago when we discovered that illegals were getting CDLs without proper English testing. Well, Trump's executive order is finally fixing this dangerous loophole, and the results are immediate. Let me break down what's happening across Mexico and American Southwest. Trucking companies in Juarez are sponsoring emergency English classes for their drivers because they realize that their entire workforce might be banned from American roads.
A truck industry executive from Juarez says his drivers are already familiar with English language road signs and Texas motor vehicle regulations. However, he and other industry leaders worry drivers may struggle to communicate their understanding of road signs if stopped and questioned by law enforcement officers.
A truck industry executive from Juarez admits his drivers might know road signs, but they worry drivers may struggle to communicate their understanding of road signs if stopped and questioned by law enforcement officers. Think about that. They can't explain what a stop sign means if a cop asked them. Here's what one English instructor revealed about the panic. It's incredible. They come knowing just the basics they learned in school.
Oh, they're gonna have a hard time in South Florida because all those Cubans.
It's incredible.
Oh my God!
Knowing just the basic they learned at school, like basic words like door, truck. This is the only words they know, and through the days, through our hard effort, they're starting to learn how to communicate.
These truck drivers know words like the and truck. That's it. And we've been letting them operate 80,000-pound vehicles on American highways.
And they've been
for
doing a
decades.
good job, though.
Transportation Secretary Sean
I mean, not to lie, like they've been doing a good job.
Dramatic results. In Alabama alone, state troopers have issued some of the first tickets under Trump's executive order. Drivers from Texas and Florida who couldn't speak English during traffic stops.
This is a ticket written by a state trooper in DeKalb County against a truck driver from Texas. This one, the driver was from Florida. What they have in common, the tickets say the drivers couldn't speak English.
Mark Colson from Alabama Trucking
Cuban.
Association
They're from
explains
Florida.
what's really happening. It's all about
Cubans
safety.
don't know
It's about being able to read the
English.
rules of the road and being able to communicate with law enforcement and the general public. Duh.
It's all about safety. It's all about being able to read the rules of the road, being able to communicate with law enforcement and the general public.
But here's what really gets me. A bilingual truck driver named Jose Reyes said he had to translate for drivers who have been in accidents. He says, I think it would shock a lot of people. Drivers out here on the road, they're operating 80,000 pounds and it's super dangerous and they can't communicate or read road signs.
I think it would be a shock to a lot of people. Drivers are out here on the road. They're operating 80,000 pounds, and it's super dangerous, and they can't communicate. They can't read road signs.
Even bilingual drivers admit.
Well, they know how to read the road
dangerous,
signs.
and it is. They're saying
They
other
just
drivers
don't
cannot communicate.
know
and
how
they
to
cannot
communicate
read
in
road
English.
signs while operating massive trucks.
But they know what the road
Here's
signs
part
are.
that should make every American furious. This English proficiency requirement has been federal law since the 1930s. But guess what? The Obama administration deliberately stopped enforcing it in 2016, putting political correctness over American lives.
Allowing drivers who cannot read stop signs or understand police officers' instructions to operate an 80,000-pound big rig threatens the
I
safety
mean, they gotta
of
know
every
what a
American on
stop
our
sign
roadways.
is.
Secretary Duffy put it
I'm not
perfectly,
gonna
allowing
like.
drivers who cannot read stop
They know what
signs
stop
or
signs are.
understand police officers' instructions to operate 80,000-pound big rigs threatens the safety of every American on our roadways. For 8 long years, the Obama administration ignored this safety requirement. How many Americans died in accidents that could have been prevented if drivers could read warning signs? How many crashes happened because drivers couldn't understand police instructions?
There's numerous examples across the country where we've had people who are operating this kind of equipment who can't speak the language, and the results have been devastating and have taken the lives of so many American families. That's going to end right now.
Secretary Duffy revealed the truth, the numerous amount of examples across the country where we've had people who were operating this type of equipment who couldn't speak the language, and the results have been devastating. And they have taken lives of so many American families. That is going to end right now. Now that Trump is enforcing existing law, the panic is spreading throughout the trucking industry. Mexican drivers are finally realizing they should have learned English a long time ago.
But what happens when the inspector asks me?
Montes says he encourages his students not to just learn the basics of a traffic stop, but rather to continue developing their English comprehension.
One instructor says he encourages students not just to learn the basics of traffic stops, but rather continue developing their English comprehension. But here's the problem. They're trying to cram decades of language learning into a few weeks because they ignored the law for years. One driver finally admits the truth.
No, they say a long time ago is that I needed to speak in English, but and today it's more necessary from the
Audio.
border.
A long time ago. Really? You didn't think you need to speak English to operate commercial vehicles on American roads? That's exactly the attitude that got us into this mess. Here's what I love about this story. Even the trucking industry supports Trump's enforcement. The California Trucking Association said they'll work to ensure enforcement is objective and consistent with federal regulations.
Speaking English, it's crucial out here, not just speaking it, but being able to understand it, because we're driving across the country, places you're not familiar with. And so you need to be able to read road signs, understand what's going on out there on the road.
One anonymous trucker explained why this actually matters. Speaking English is crucial out here, not just speaking it, but being able to understand it. Even drivers for whom English is their second language support this requirement. As one reporter noted, I actually spoke to a lot of truckers off camera, and every single one of them thought this was a good idea.
Now, I actually spoke to a lot of truckers today off camera, and every single one of them thought that this was a good idea.
Real professional drivers understand that safety requires communication. They want competent drivers sharing the road, not people who need Google Translate to talk to police officers. America, this is exactly what common sense governance looks like. Trump took federal law that's been in the books since the 1930s and simply started enforcing it. The results? 1,500 dangerous drivers removed from American roads in just 30 days. The panic among Mexican drivers proves they knew this was coming. They've been operating illegally for years, ignoring English requirements while putting American families at risk. Now they're scrambling to learn basic English because they finally face real consequences. I reported on this issue months ago when we discovered how illegals were getting CDLs without proper testing. The system was broken. Obama made it worse by stopping enforcement, and Trump fixed it with one executive order. When you're operating an 80,000-pound vehicle at highway speeds, you need to read road signs, understand traffic signals, and communicate with
but then
law
how they got their
enforcement. That's not
license?
discrimination. That's basic safety.
How
The
did
fact
they
that
get their
trucking
license, though?
companies now sponsor emergency English classes proves their drivers weren't qualified. They just didn't care until Trump started enforcing the law. This is what America First looks like in practice, prioritizing American safety over political correctness,
Okay,
enforcing
but-
existing laws instead of ignoring them, and holding foreign drivers to the same standards we expect from American drivers. This is what happens when you have leadership that puts American lives before foreign convenience. Let me know what you guys think about this. Drop it down in the comment section down below. Smash the like button if you kindly would. Share, subscribe, and as always, guys, I'll catch you on the next one.
The Cruz, thank you very much for the show. My head goes straight to how the hell did they get their license? how the hell did they get their license to drive? If that's the case. I mean, are they driving without license or permits? Because I'm sure you're supposed to have all that stuff if you're a truck driver. What did they do? They just got a flea market CDL and be like, oh shit, I could drive 18 wheelers. Okay, vámonos. I don't know. Like, how did they get the license? How like, there's so many questions. Come on, which it could have been like stopped from the very beginning, but all the lack of authority here in America, everything is gone to shit. So it's like we're trying to clean the shit up and fix it in certain sectors. And the one sector, you got to know English to live here and to work here. You got to know English. And let me tell you something. It's very, very beneficial if you're bilingual. You even get paid more for being bilingual. And if these Mexicans could learn English, I don't have any problems with them driving 18 wheelers if they know proper English and they know where they're going. And, if they drive safe, more power to them. I know they have that problem down in South Florida because that's like little Cuba in South Florida. Like almost all of Florida is like, it's like, especially South Florida is very Cuban dominated area. Like there's a lot of Cubans in South Florida, and 90% of them don't know English. And they don't even try to learn English. So it's and not only let's say not only Cubans, because you got Puerto Ricans too. You also got Dominicans, even the Haitian, and all people that come from any part of the world. If you're coming to America, you got to know English, and you got to speak English, and you got to know how to like communicate in English. I think they're cracking down on that. Like if I go to Italy, I don't know how to fucking speak Italian. Like, are they not gonna let me in Italy if I don't know how to speak Italian? I mean, a lot of people that travel from around the world come to America and they don't know how to speak English. And they're renting cars and they're driving our roads. Do they know English? No, but I mean, anybody could read a stop sign. A monkey could read a stop sign. It's red, and it has like it's kind of like stop. It has the red on it. Red means stop, so they are going to stop at stop signs. It's just, to me, it's not hard to read signs. Even being only Spanish, it's not hard to read the signs. I just know that. And that shouldn't be an excuse. The only excuse I have is if they don't know how to explain their trucks and how to explain issues, or explain, like if cops are doing an inspection, like they're doing an inspection of the 18 wheeler and they got to check all the systems, like everything. They pull them over to do an inspection on site, and they got to know how and what the officer is looking for, and communicating with like whatever permits they have, whatever paperwork, license, all that stuff. They got to have it ready for the police and be able to communicate with them if there's an issue. Yeah, then it's understandable. They need to know English, because the cops are not there to be bilingual. They're there to speak only English. But I mean, you're lucky if you get an officer that knows Spanish, because then that's very beneficial, because then you can get away with it and just speak to them in Spanish, and and just keep going. But now is a problem, because if they can't communicate in English, and even though the officer knows Spanish, but they need to communicate with English and they can't, then the officer's going to have to write them a ticket for not knowing how to communicate or speak English, and that sucks. So I'm out of here. I'm keeping it to an hour, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of my Sunday. And I hope you guys do the same too. Tomorrow is going to be an interesting day. Tomorrow, Zelensky is coming with his clan, his team of minions from NATO and from other parts of Europe to. Zelensky never knows how to handle his problems by himself. I noticed that. Because when Zelensky went to meet with Trump, I think this was at the Vatican, Zelensky was trying to bring in Macron into the conversation. And he was trying to bring Macron in. And I saw videos. I think I talked about this on my show. He tried to bring Macron in, but Trump was like, no. It's just us two. Macron, no. And, that's the president of Paris, of France. So they told France to go sit your ass over there. And this is only a 1-to-1. So initially they had 3 chairs set up. And Trump was like, no. Take that chair out. There's only 1-on-1 between me and Zelensky. And Macron, see your way out. And Macron had to see his way out, and they had a conversation and stuff like that. And the last time Zelensky went over to the White House, Zelensky didn't even come dressed. He came like in war fatigues, like he just came out of the battlefield. And Trump found that very disrespectful. Okay? So that conversation went really haywire, especially when Trump had to point out that Zelensky didn't even have the cards to play with. Like, that's crazy. He's like, you don't even have the cards to play with. So you don't have a position to dictate and try to, like, control the situation. You just don't have the cards. You're not even in the game. That was wild. And that was the last time Zelensky was here at the White House. Now, what are the chances that Zelensky wears a suit and tie to the White House tomorrow? What are the chances? Do you think Zelensky will go to the White House with a suit and tie and wears his best? Like he could have custom made suit for him? Like, is he gonna go to make a deal, or is he gonna go into war fatigues again, and then he's gonna bring his minions from Europe and from NATO and all over that gonna come to the White House? Trump, he could do 2 things. He can listen to them all, whatever, right? But if Zelensky comes in war fatigues and he's coming with a whole bunch of minions, that I believe Trump is already knowing that these people are a bunch of minions, that he should kick them all out of the fucking White House like he kicked Zelensky out the last time. He should kick all of them out and say, get the fuck out of here. You guys are just warmongers. You're not even in it to fucking peace. You're just in it to benefit yourself. And kick them the fuck out of the White House. That would be so fucking awesome tomorrow. I am so looking forward to tomorrow. I'm actually gonna figure out what time they're gonna do this, and I'm gonna come on live, and we're gonna be checking it out. We're gonna do this live tomorrow, and I think it might happen early, so I might do an early show tomorrow, just to see what the hell happened with Zelensky. And Did he come wearing a suit, or did he come with his fatigues and I come off the battlefield again, Trump? Last time you did not give me check. This time I bring NATO, I bring the European people. Now you give me check, and we continue this. Trump's gonna say, "Get the fuck out of here. Get the fuck out of here. Whatever Putin does, I don't give a fuck. I ain't giving you no more shit. I ain't giving you no more weapons. I ain't gonna give you no more money. There's no more checks. There's nothing. Good luck, motherfucker. Get the fuck out of my house." And kick them all out. And let Europe take care of fucking Ukraine. Let Europe supply what they need for the battle. You know? It's like, why are we in this shit? How the fuck we got into this shit? Like, who put us in this middle of this battle? Like, what fucking, like, what did we have? Like, how the fuck did we get into this shit? What a waste of money. And Ukraine owes us a lot of money. Okay, so why don't Europe take over their budget and take over and deal with fucking Zelensky? I mean, I think for peace to happen, okay, they could agree to whatever land switches, whatever, but in that clause, there should be a certain amount of time that they need to be holding an election in Ukraine to remove Zelensky as president, because he's already overstayed his time, you know, and that's kind of like, you know, you went over your term limits and you used the national emergency as an excuse to continue with your bullshit scam and then taking money from everyone from all around the world. And for us to, have a heart, give us all the money you have. We go collect it. We go to you and we collect the check. That's what Zelensky used to do when Biden was president. Every time Zelensky came, Biden was like, let me sign my, I don't even remember how to sign my name. Auto pen. Get the auto pen. How much money you give me this time, Biden? $1 billion? Okay, whatever. Just, you could write it yourself. Oh, man. We're in trouble. Thank God Trump's in office, but we're cleaning up after fucking Biden's mess. This Ukraine stuff is basically Biden's mess. Actually, I have a video here we could check out. I haven't seen it yet. It's from CNN. You know I hate CNN, so why not finish the show with hate? Why not finish the show with some hate from CNN? Let's check out this last story I want to check out. So let's check this one out.
Counting down to a critical meeting that could reshape the future of Russia's war in Ukraine. Just days after his summit with Russian President Vladimir Putin, President Trump will hold talks with Ukrainian President Zelensky tomorrow.
That's what I'm
at
saying.
the White
You
House.
better wear a suit.
Trump and Zelensky will not be alone. European and NATO leaders announcing today that they will be at Zelensky's side during the high-stakes sit-down.
Listen to
with the
pussy
memory
shit.
of Trump and
Serious.
Zelensky's
My
last
God.
Oval Office meeting still fresh in the minds of world leaders,
I can't
Secretary of
stand
State Marco
Zelensky.
Rubio is dismissing concerns that tomorrow will be a repeat.
Country's in big trouble. Wait a minute. No. You've done a lot of talking. Your country is in big trouble.
I know.
You're not winning.
I know.
You're not winning this. You have a damn good chance of coming out okay because of us.
Zelensky Zelensky also speaking out this morning with the president of the EU. Zelensky
He's going
laid
in for a
out
second
what
ass
needs to
whooping
happen
from the
tomorrow,
US.
as Trump says he is now focused on securing a peace deal rather than a ceasefire. CNN's Ben Wiedemann is in Kyiv. CNN's Kevin Liptak is at the White House. Ben, to you first. What are leaders in Europe saying about this upcoming meeting tomorrow between Trump and Zelensky, and now a lot of support for Zelensky by way of European leaders and NATO leaders?
Yes, well, they had this this video call today. Ukraine's major supporters, along with President Zelensky, where they're really just sort of coordinating their positions in preparation for the meeting tomorrow in Washington. And I think, you know, you played the clip from the Oval Office in February where Trump really laid into Zelensky. And I think that's at the top of the minds of European leaders and obviously President Zelensky as they prepare for that meeting. The fear is that President Trump, who in the weeks leading up to the Alaska summit took a fairly hard line on Russia, on President Putin, has now switched. He's said that he wants to go straight for a final peace agreement, skipping a ceasefire altogether, which is very much the Russian line. So the worry is that President Trump, after the Alaska summit, has shifted somewhat. So they want to make sure that he gets back on an even keel. And in fact, the Polish foreign minister, Radoslaw Sikorski, put out a note on social media saying that for peace to come, pressure must be placed on the aggressor, not the victim. Perhaps a reminder to President Trump who it was who invaded this country in the first place. And of course, the worry is that President Putin is saying that he wants Ukraine to cede control of the Donetsk and Luhansk regions, something the government here has flatly rejected, as well as people who we spoke to today in the streets of Kyiv.
If some people come to your house and steal your kitchen, your bedroom, you say, okay, stay here. No, it's not okay. It's not good for us. We are freedom people, and I hope we don't take any piece of our lands.
What?
So there really is resistance to this idea that somehow, in order to achieve peace, Ukraine has to surrender large chunks of its territory. That area known as the Donbass, that's Donetsk and Luhansk, together is a manufacturing center of Ukraine. For Ukraine to surrender that would be a huge loss. And that explains why there's really so much resistance to this idea put forth by the Russian president. Frederica?
All right, Ben Wiedemann, thanks so much. All right, Kevin, to you at the White House now. Update us on what the administration is saying, not just about tomorrow's sit down with Zelensky and now let's call it his entourage or his supporters, but also about Trump's meeting with Putin.
Yeah, and this meeting tomorrow is really shaping up to be quite a consequential moment. You know, in all my years covering the White House, I don't remember another time when so many top leaders have kind of convened all at once at the last minute, which gives you a sense, one, of the urgency that they feel in trying to reach a peace in Ukraine, but also the urgency they feel in ensuring that they are not sidelined in how this all comes about. Now, the way I understand this will shape up tomorrow is that President Trump and Zelensky will meet individually with their delegations before moving on to this larger format meeting with the other European leaders. We have been hearing today from all three American participants in that summit with Vladimir Putin on Friday. We heard from President Trump, who said that there was big progress made on Russia and stay tuned. But perhaps more importantly, we heard from the two advisors who were with him in that meeting, the Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and the Secretary of State Marco Rubio, who were both framing that summit as a success and trying to explain why the president had moved away from this idea of an immediate ceasefire. Remember, he said going into the summit he would be disappointed if that was not a result, and he said afterwards that that was no longer a goal of his. Rubio said that was because essentially Russia wouldn't agree to it, but what Witkoff said happened was that Russia made some significant agreements during those talks that, in his view, made it no longer necessary to do the ceasefire. They were going to skip ahead a step and go straight for this larger peace deal based on what he said were some significant concessions from the Russians. Listen to more of Steve Witkoff.
We agreed to robust security guarantees that I would describe as game-changing. We didn't think that we were anywhere close to agreeing to Article 5 protection from the United States, in legislative enshrinement within the Russian Federation, not to go after any other territory when the peace deal is codified, legislative enshrinement in the Russian Federation, not to go after any other European countries and violate their sovereignty.
So you hear there really kind of the most fulsome accounting of what happened over the course of that 3-hour summit from Witkoff. And just to delve into one of the things he said there, which is this idea of a security guarantee modeled after NATO's Article 5 clause that says an attack against one is an attack against all. Witkoff described that as essentially a workaround. Because Russia has said that Ukraine can never join NATO, this is a way to sort of provide assurance to Ukraine that once this war ends, Putin isn't able to kind of regroup and go after the rest of the country after a few years. Now, there are a lot of outstanding questions about what exactly that would look like, namely what the U.S. role in that would be. You know, Trump has said pretty explicitly that American troops will not be on the ground in Ukraine, so it doesn't seem exactly clear how the U.S. and other NATO countries would provide that kind of guarantee to Ukraine. But certainly that will be a major topic of discussion among the leaders here tomorrow. I should just note, Rubio himself was a little more guarded about the momentum here. He said that we are still a long ways off from a peace agreement, that we are not at the precipice, but certainly both of these men describing some significant progress as we head into this consequential moment tomorrow.
All right, Kevin Liptak at the White House, Ben Wiedemann in Kyiv. Thanks to both of you. Appreciate it.
It's going to be interesting tomorrow. I'm going to cover it because I think it's very important, and I think let's see how serious this is going to be. This how serious Zelensky takes this. If he's coming with all these people from the European Union and from NATO and all this hoopla that he wants to bring his own cheerleading gang, okay, his support group. This is his support team that's gonna help him stay calm and try to get a solution. If he comes and fatigues, prepare for round 2 of ass chewing. And thank you for bringing dessert too, because I'm gonna chew on the Europeans and NATO at the same time. Thank you for bringing them. Thank you. Are we going to get that Trump? Are we going to get the Pitbull Trump? Man, I would love to see that. Now, and are we going to get to see Zelensky in a suit and a nice tie? This is a very telltale. This is very. I will cover this tomorrow. I definitely want to see if Zelensky arrives in a suit and tie and actually is ready to conduct business and get things squared off and bring peace. And you may lose a lot, but you'll gain in peace and tranquility. So, it is what it is, and we need to have an election in Ukraine. And with that said, that's where I'm going to leave the show. Thank you for those who came through. I appreciate it. And I'll be back on tomorrow to cover the Zelensky and the whole European / NATO comfort team. I call it the comfort team. That's the comfort team to Zelensky. When Zelensky he could just turn around and get comfort by the Europeans and hugs and kisses and we love you, we give allegiance to you. Right. When are we gonna get these motherfuckers out of power? You know, because they infiltrated the world's like superpowers, and the wokeness goes deep and it runs deep. And when are we going to get out of that vortex of these individuals that are really not in it for us and in it for themselves? When are we going to get those people out of power? You know, because once you're in power, it's hard to be held accountable for. And I'm trying to make accountability great again. And you could go get that shirt. You could go order it for yourself over at Tyson De La Cruz. Go over to his channel, subscribe, leave a like, and check out his store. Check out his merchandise. Check out his shirts. The one shirt that I helped put together was Make Accountability Great Again. And we need to make accountability great again. That's the real MAGA way. And with that said, thank you for watching. I appreciate it. Have a good morning, good afternoon, and a good night wherever you're at. And I'll catch you on the flip side. And I'll be back tomorrow to cover Zelensky, suit or no suit. Oh boy. That's the biggest $1 million question right now. Is he going to come in a suit? See y'all tomorrow. Peace.